All right, everyone. Welcome once again. I can't talk this morning. It is Friday, and it is time for Manufacturing E-commerce Success. I am your co-host, Damon Pistolka, and with that pretty gentleman over there, that's going to be Kurt Anderson. Kurt, take it away, my friend.
Damon, how was the concert last night, dude? You're a little shaky this morning, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not used to staying up past like 9:30. So me getting home at 1:00 in the morning, that just it kind of throws me off of
Dude,
sorts.
it's like college days all over again. Well, hey, God
Yeah.
bless your wife for getting you a
Yeah,
social life, taking out with your kids and having a good time.
Oh,
So
it's a fun time.
let the hair down, right? So I'm
Yeah.
glad you had a good time. So,
It was good.
hey, Damon, happy Friday. So we got Damon Pistolka with Exit Your Way, that handsome devil over there. So, Damon, thank you for being here today. You know, after that wild and crazy night, we're just so proud of you. So,
I wouldn't go that far with wild and crazy.
Well, hey, Kurt Anderson here, honor, privilege. Let us know that you're out there. We'd love to see what you have going on, but this is an honor. This is an absolute privilege to introduce our dear friend, Wendy Covey, the founder, co-founder, and president of TREW Marketing. Wendy, happy Friday to you. How are you?
Happy Friday. I'm doing great. I have a bit of a thunderstorm going on situation. So if you hear a few boomers behind me, oh well.
Just duck. Just
happy for the rain.
Yeah, hang on. Right. Just all right. Stay safe. Well, you stay away from water, and we want to keep Wendy safe. So, Wendy, this is a great intro. Damon, are you sitting down? Are you sitting down for this intro? So, dude, there's like a lot going on here with Wendy.
Yes, there is.
She's an inbound marketing HubSpot expert, guru, technical marketer, if you will. Not if you will. She's just an expert. She has a book. She has a podcast. We're going to dig into that today.
Yeah.
She specializes in B2B industrial marketing. Most of all, she was just sharing with us, she has a state record of fishing.
We'll have to talk about that.
And you have all sorts of things. Now here's a couple more credentials. This one is just super impressive. Forbes contributor. Damon, I don't know if you know this. She's the Wall Street Journal's ranked on the 10 most innovative entrepreneurs in America. Wendy, my goodness gracious, you are doing all sorts of amazing work, incredible things. Before we dig deep into your expertise, your superpowers, question for you today. Ready? Are you sitting down for this one?
I'm ready. I'm sitting.
Wendy, when you were a young gal, you're growing up in Texas, and just like, you're just on fire right now. Young gal in Texas, who was your hero growing up? Who was your hero growing up?
Oh, I think I would say my dad.
Nice.
And here's why. He was in commercial construction. He was in civil engineer. And he had a midlife crisis and said, I don't want to be commuting and away from my family. And this is such a grind. And this was in like the late 70s, early 80s. He was everybody was smoking, and that was right, even on airplanes. Those were
I remember.
Oh God, just so horrid.
And he came home one day and he was like, forget it. I want to teach high school math, and then my mom, maybe co-hero here, was like, honey, maybe not. Maybe get your master's and teach your profession. And so he did this big change and became a professor. And we moved to College Station, so he became a professor at Texas A&M. But that, it takes a lot of strength to say, this isn't the way for me. This is not how I want to live my life. And so being true to your career, but being true to yourself personally is a big thing that I took away, and I tried to emulate as I look at my career and how I want to craft and lead my company so that people have that balance and are happy on both aspects.
Wow, man. And what's Dad's name?
Leonard Smith.
Leonard. Well, hey, God bless Leonard for, and Damon and I we're big girl dads. So we're just absolutely thrilled to hear that answer. And what an inspiration for a total career change, Damon. What do you think of that?
Well, it's cool. And was he teaching at the same school that you were at?
He was. Yeah. I had quite the hookup.
Well, I was like, yeah, that whole thing, and you got to be good then. I mean, even on a big school, you can stand out if you really try.
It's a big school, but the greatest thing he did for me was he would ride his bike to class because he lived close to campus, and I had his parking pass, and that was worth the wait.
That's cool.
And Anna could register for classes a smidge early. So
Yeah.
2 perks.
Man, that is awesome. You know, a few things unpacked there, Damon. So we're old dudes. Like, do you remember being on a plane? I remember they had a smoking section and a non-smoking section. I'm like that. I mean, for young people today, that's like so prehistoric, right? Think about that. Okay. So, all right. So Texas A&M, you know, we're big 12th man. How about that? Dad goes off, makes a big transition, becomes a history professor. What was the subject?
Construction science.
Construction science. Thank you. Okay. Construction is a professor. You are a Texas A&M grad. So this is perfect segue. And you're kind of answering the question already. I want to slide in. Okay. You graduate from Texas A&M. What led you to bring your superpowers, your expertise? Why marketing, Wendy? Like, what brought you in that direction of marketing? And then I'd love to get into why manufacturing, why B2B, industrial. What led you that path?
Yeah. So it was happenstance that I wound up in engineering and technology. And it's a funny story. So first, why marketing? I definitely see myself as a strong communicator. I'm a big extrovert. So I always knew I wanted to do something in journalism or communications, and studied marketing as well. I liked the business aspect. So, you know, that convergence of business and communications always attracted me. But when I got out of school, moved to Austin, and I saw this, wait for it, newspaper ad, because that's how we used to find jobs. See, I'm not so young. And it was for an events coordinator at this high-tech company that I'd never heard of, called National Instruments, not Texas Instruments, and not National Semiconductor, National Instruments, right? At the time, you know, now they're pretty big. People know it. But anyway, I thought, wait, someone would pay me to like plan parties? I mean, that's where my head is, you know, coming out of college. Yeah. Little did I know, 12 years later, I would, learn so much about marketing and technology and how to find and attract these technical buyers to your trade show booth, to your conferences, with your copy. So I learned just a ton. I was on the product management side as well as events management, and invaluable experience there.
Right. Oh, that is so good. You know, and I think I saw, like, I think you're a recruiter at your sorority, or you just seem like just such
I was a rush chair. Again, parties.
So there's a perfect transition into that position, you know, being the event planner. And I'm going to go off script for a minute. Sure. Like, what were some tips, any strategy, you know, as the world's opening back up and now people are hitting trade shows? We're going to get into a couple of shows that you're going to be speaking at. Any tips, advice that you picked up back then that you still find relevant today?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's interesting. People are really hungry to get back face to face. So there's a lot of excitement. You do see companies being very picky about where they're going. They've during the pandemic, they learned about the power of digital marketing and content marketing. And even those laggards in manufacturing had to figure it out, right? So we're in this new phase now where there's excitement about face-to-face, but yet we don't want to let go of our content budgets. So let's go to fewer shows and really be as holistic about them as possible. Right. So that means, what is my marketing strategy? Am I presenting at the conference? Do I have a booth? Do I have key messages? What do my demos look like? What is my call to action for afterwards? You know, what is my way to nurture these leads that I've met? How do I get sales appointments during that meeting and help marketing facilitate that on LinkedIn? So a lot of just holistic strategies, bringing the digital and face-to-face together as people start to plan for these events.
Yeah. That's what I think is cool about now. I mean, because, you know, you don't need to go 100% digital, right? If it works for you, great. But this whole hybrid kind of thing where you're really leading up to these events with information, getting people excited, and establishing that creating that demand for you, your brand, your products before the show, and then, like you said, the in-person meetings at the show, and then following up after with the appropriate things and contacts. It's just, it is so much more holistic.
Yeah. And it should have always been that way.
Yeah, right.
I mean, and I will say, you know, and I, once upon a time, I planned 60 trade shows a year in North America.
A year.
Yeah.
So I have the formula down of this, you know, pre-show, during, and post-show. But LinkedIn and in particular, webinars, those are tools that are just such nice companions to, you know, your in-person events. So sandwiching, using those tools is a big recommendation I have.
You know, and I absolutely love that. And I kind of view you as a pioneer, you know, think of the transition of trade shows sliding into the digital world and in using these assets. So like you're hitting trade shows, you know, before social media, and like you probably saw the progression of like, hey, maybe we should try this YouTube thing, or maybe this Twitter thing, or LinkedIn, or so, right? I mean, you must have like,
you know what? I have the coolest story about that. So it's late 90s and everything, you know, everything, the web, you know, we all have websites. There's different ways to digitize the physical media, if you will. So each department at NI adopted their virtual counterpart. So the print advertising people started doing search advertising and online advertising. And me and events, we started doing webinars. And then comparing and contrasting the ROI and the cost per lead and all of that stuff for both mediums. So it was an interesting way to take that physical things we did and try to figure out how to do it in the digital world.
Right. Oh man. All right. Now this is getting just juicy now.
Yeah.
So this is going to get good. All right. Let's slide right in. So I absolutely love what we're going. Guys, if you're just joining us, we're here with Wendy Covey, president of TREW Marketing, just a true pioneer. Man, I guess that name fits, doesn't it? Where did the name TREW come from, Wendy? Where'd you get that from?
You know, when my co-founder, Rebecca Geyer, and I started the agency, we'd never worked at an agency. We'd never worked with agencies, but our impression was, you know, slick, you know, fancy clothes, kind of, you know, salesy. We didn't have a good impression, in other words, right?
Yeah.
And so we were like, we want to be a trusted resource. We want to be one of your team. We want to be authentic, down to earth. And so the word trust and crew came together to become TREW Marketing.
Well, I absolutely love it. And you want to, first off, connect with Wendy here on LinkedIn. And secondly, you absolutely want to check out her website. We're going to dig in. You guys not only talk, you walk the walk. You have tons of resources. You guys do workshops, webinars, programs. You have your book, your podcast. You call your team the TREW Crew, which I absolutely love. Check out her crew. So let's slide in. So we're kind of progressing. We're still back in time. So 2008, the world is completely collapsing. What do you decide to do with your career, Wendy, in 2008?
Let's start a business. Yay!
There we go.
You know what? So for anybody out there that's maybe, you know, where maybe they're sitting right now where you were then, okay? Job, career, whatever's going on in their life, boy, you know, times are still shaky. You know, are we COVID, post-COVID, economy? Where are we at right now? So take us back to 2008. What's the process of taking that plunge? You know, it sounds like you're doing great with the events. You're booming. You know, you're very social. It was a good fit for you.
Yeah.
Why make that plunge?
Yeah, it was tough to leave. It was a great company, and I had moved into a product management role for software services by then, so I was on that side. However, I fell in love, and I wanted to get married to someone who lived very far from where the company was. So I had a personal catalyst, and I tried to get the company to experiment with, hey, can I work from home a few days a week? And it was like, okay, no, not really. But I mean, you could, but not in your leadership position.
Yeah.
So you can go here, or you can, you know, live here. So that was one thing going on. And then my co-founder, Rebecca, had kind of reached her ceiling of career growth at the company. And so she and I were workout partners and happy hour partners. And we just started observing how all these NI partners, these engineering system integration companies, had horrific websites, no understanding of how to do marketing. And we thought, you know, it would be really rewarding to help them. We understand, we see the problem, we see the solution. Why don't we make a go of this? Why don't we leave, start our own agency, start with that ecosystem, but of course say yes to whoever will pay us, because that was the mode we were in. And give it a go.
That, you know, there's always a guy in that story, isn't there? Like that little, there's always about a guy, just teasing. So, well, hey, it all worked out tremendously. And again, what a leap of faith, how courageous to, you know, leave the company and start your own firm. And here 14 years later, just thriving. You're a leader of the industry, doing amazing work. Couple things again at TREW Marketing. I believe like you do a lot of work with global spec. I think we're going to dig into that, right? You're some little research project that we're going to talk about. Yeah. You have elite distinction as a HubSpot Platinum partner, B2B Magazine's top B2B marketing agency. I mean, you just absolutely crushing it, hitting it out of the park. Let's talk. I think this is a good point. If you feel, let's dig into that research project that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah. So when we first started the agency and we were off, you know, convincing these engineering executives that they needed better marketing, and they'd say, well, show me the data. And so we'd show them B2B data, and they'd say, but that's not us. We target engineers. And we reflected on that, and we're like, okay, this is frustrating, right? We're experienced marketers, we know our stuff, but engineers' behaviors, they are different than your average B2B buyer. So let's go study this. And that was the catalyst to begin an annual research study on how engineers seek and consume information to make purchase decisions. And so we've done this report for 9 years now, 5 of which the past 5 with Global Spec. And we ask engineers everything from, do you use social media? What type of content are you willing to fill out a form for? You know, when do you want to engage with sales? How far along are you in the buyer's journey? And so with this data, marketers that are targeting technical companies can, one, you know, get their marketing mix dialed in, but also help their engineering leaders and other leaders within the company really understand why content marketing is so important.
Yeah.
Man, this is so good. All right, let's go. Let's take a deeper dive here.
Okay.
Wendy, a company reaches out to you. So again, you target manufacturers, engineers, tech specs, you know, you really like that down and dirty geek speak, if you will.
Really complex. We want the hard, complex.
We want the hard, the bigger the challenge, like you're going to dive right in. So, all right, I'm a manufacturer. I'm an industrial. I'm a tech, you know, geeks. I'm a geek, somebody, whoever I am out there. And boy, you're just singing my song, speaking my language. You've had me at hello. Walk us through that process. So let's just say I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed. Let's say I'm a really bright engineer that's out there, and they know nothing about marketing. Zero. It's not in their wheelhouse whatsoever. Walk us through your steps on how the TREW crew tackles that project.
Yeah. So you know, it's part education, and then part let's roll up our sleeves and get to work, right? So the education is around inbound marketing, and it's, you know, it's not just let's hire more and more sales guys, which are really hard to find, salespeople, excuse me, you know, because they need to have technical acumen to reach out to this buyer. It's not let's give them a list and have them cold call, right? We're well beyond that. We all know that. It's not have a website that's really shallow and it just looks like a brochure. No, you know, the data shows that these buyers want education. They go to Google, they search long tail, you know, terms, and they want to spend a lot of time independently researching information from credible sources. And so if you don't have that story out there and you don't have technical content, you're not even being considered. So, you know, you need to first work on that content, work on that website, and then you prime those people for sales. So now you have this expensive, wonderful technical sales force that's actually using their time in the most productive way possible. So we kind of paint that vision of what it could like, show some case studies of companies who are succeeding in that. And that's usually enough to get somebody to want to learn further.
I love that. Okay, so again, I'm the engineer out there. Boy, all right, you're speaking some of my language. What long tail? What on earth is long tail? I thought that was like on an animal or a fish. Just kidding.
Right.
We'll talk about fishing in a minute. But
we will.
Let's talk. Like, all right. So again, that manufacturer, that technical person out there, like, okay, I'm starting to get it. So what you're telling me, Wendy, is like, I can't just put up this 2005 website. I need to go a little bit deeper. Walk us through like long tail, that process, how to be found. Take us there.
Yeah. Well, here's an interesting research stat. An engineer is more likely to go past page 10 in Google results than stop at page 1.
Yeah. Well, and it
right,
is because it is, and from searching for technical stuff myself in the years past, it is because the first few pages are more flashy kind of stuff, right? And to get into the technical stuff, where because engineers, they'll download PDFs, right? You're going to download a PDF to look at the specifications on this whatever bus controller that connects into my automation or whatever. Right. And because that's what they're trying to solve a very specific problem.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
In my experience,
so go deep. Yep. So, so the process then to setting yourself up well is to start with, one, do you know who you are as a company? What is your brand position? What are your differentiators? How do you defend them? How do you message about your company? Because too many times I have technical companies come to me and they say, just tell me which verticals I should focus on. I'm like, no, that's your job, is to build your business strategy and be able to articulate that. And we'll help you with that piece of it. But once you have that, defining audience personas, and this to technical folks kind of sounds like hooey, but it really is important. Who is going to find you first? And what is their job title? How old are they? Where do they work? What are their job pressures? What are their challenges? And how do you speak to them? And then who are they going to? Who is that buying team that you need to, then persuade to put you on the short list? And so now you have the basis of something you can use to build a content strategy and an inbound marketing strategy for that matter.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. So again, manufacturers out there, you're targeting, I know, I guess simplistic, it's cliche that, you're targeting the engineer, you're targeting the purchaser, but, I was working with a manufacturer this week, and one of their buyer personas is Scott, the FBI field agent, because Scott's out in the field and he needs something on the spot, right? Or, this person, that person. So again, like fully understanding that customer. Now, I love what you're talking about, the engineering side. And so, hey guys, again, I want to give a hello to everybody. We've got Gail here today. Val, pull up that comment from Val there, Damon. Wendy and her crew, the TREW crew, hosts amazing webinars. So let's go there right now, Wendy. Again, if you go to TREW Marketing website, she does an amazing job. You have your services that you provide. You do webinars, workshops, all sorts of fun things. And you have a book and a podcast. I want to talk about that next. But when somebody engages with you, let's walk through that process of like, how do you help educate that engineering, that technical company that's had no marketing background from a workshop or a webinar standpoint?
Yeah. So often we'll walk through the marketing planning process. So, building those personas, creating marketing goals. What is a marketing campaign? Well, it's an integrated set of activities towards a common goal. What should be campaigns for your company? And so a lot of times what happens is someone wants to jump straight to activity and they say, should I do Facebook? And we're like, that's the wrong question. Let's start with who we're targeting, why we're targeting them, what success looks like. Then let's talk about content and messaging, and then we'll get to those channels, I promise. But at the end of the day, all those activities that we do need to be integrated together towards a common goal, common theme. And so there's a lot of education around how to approach marketing planning strategically rather than this Excel spreadsheet of activities.
Right. So when you're in this, do you have a lot of like those aha moments with these, with these technical folks, these clients that don't have that marketing background? Do you see the light bulbs go off when you're engaged?
You bet. Yeah. There's 2 parts light bulbs and 1 part like, whoa, whiplash a little bit, because if you haven't been doing modern marketing, let's say, there's a lot to it, and it's not a short-term investment. Inbound marketing takes time to build that content and continue to publish content at a steady pace, a steady cadence. And if your website's one of those 1995 ones, we've got a lot of work to do. So if someone wants instant leads, well, it's probably not going to happen for 6 months, 9 months while we're building this foundation.
Right. Well, all right. When next question, at what point in time, why HubSpot? As you started your firm, why did you align yourself? What resonated with you and your partner on HubSpot, and why marry that direction?
Great question. So they approached us, I think it's been 11 years now.
11 years, nice.
And said, look, just try it for your own agency and just see if you get benefit from this. And we were a small business, right? And we tried it. And within the first 3 weeks, we said, oh my gosh, we're pulling all these reports manually for our clients. We're in so many different individual marketing software, pieces like MailChimp, Constant Contact, Hootsuite, the list goes on. We said we could, if we had our clients adopt this, we could actually reduce the spend with TREW and have more intelligence and do things faster. And so we saw this immediate ROI. And so that's exactly what we did. We went to our top 3 clients and said, look, trust us. We're going to give you some money back from your retainer, get on HubSpot, and let's all work more intelligently. And that's exactly what happened. And we've just been so impressed with the tool and how they focus on small to medium-sized businesses. So it's not the right tool for, a $2 billion company, say. For most of our clients base, they're in the middle market, and it's ideally suited for them, and then startups as well. So that's when we recommend it.
I mean, and it's just been a total home run, no looking back, 10-year, 11-year relationship. You guys have distinction of elite status as a platinum partner.
Yep.
It just sounds like you're just crushing it with that alignment with HubSpot.
Yeah. And we're not, it's not about, hey, let's make everybody get on HubSpot, but it's about how can we serve our clients in the best way and give them a robust tool that, does all the things they need to do.
Right. Well, I mean, in the same spirit, if we own a product-driven store, you want to have the best product on the shelf, so you're offering the best product on the shelf. All right, let's slide into, you have a podcast, you have a book. Let's start with your book. So congratulations on your book. We invite everybody to go out and get her book. Let's see. It's what's the name of your book? I have it here somewhere.
Content Marketing Engineered.
Content Marketing Engineered.
Yeah.
So Content Marketing Engineered, let's like the title, the book, let's give everybody like a little taste of the book so they need to go out and buy it. But talk about the process of the book and why launch a book? You're a busy gal. You got 100 things going on. You love fishing. What was the process behind writing that book?
Yeah. And this is actually the second book published by a TREW Marketing author. So co-founder Rebecca Geyer published the first one called Smart Marketing for Engineers. Right. And with both, the idea is we can't serve everybody in this market, right? And there's only certain clients that are good fit for us, certain people that have the budget to work with us, all of that. And so how do we take all the lessons we've learned and just help everyone, in the community, right? We're all struggling to reach these technical buyers. There's a lot of nuances to it. And so that's it. So let's share our knowledge and put it out there. And so with Content Marketing Engineered, it really is a step-by-step playbook to putting together a content marketing strategy, from brand positioning and messaging to persona development that we talked about, how to put together that plan, how to write effective content. There's a whole section of the book on that. Right. We talk about sales enablement and measurement. So there's a lot in there. And I've had really good reception from people that
nice.
We had one company that aligned their whole marketing division based on the book because they all use different language. That company is called ANSYS. They do their engineering software company, engineering simulation. And I was thrilled to have them use it in that manner as a book group. So it's been cool.
Gosh, what an inspiration. Congratulations. It's a huge accomplishment putting out the book and then to have that type of reception. And that's just awesome. Now your podcast is the same name. And I went through, you have amazing guests, great topics. I think you've had over 90 episodes. I think Eddie Saunders is coming up in a few weeks on our show. And I think you've had a couple other, Chris Lukey, and it looked like we've had a couple mutual guests since we're kind of targeting the same folks here. But talk about what inspired you to get the podcast launch and how's that been for you, your business? What's that look like?
Yeah, well, it was intended to support the book launch and to have just fresh new content, different perspectives. So same goal to just provide education and, networking amongst the industry. And then it just so happened this thing called COVID hit. And, all these speaking engagements from the book that I expected to happen instead became my podcast. So, but it's been such a rewarding, just personally enriching exercise to just meet all these people in the industry that are, doing the same thing we're doing. Just try to reach these buyers in new ways, innovative ways, what's working, what's not. So just having a lot of fun with it.
Have you found, how has it strengthened? So for manufacturers out there, okay, you're in the marketing space and they could easily say, you know what, Wendy, you're in marketing. Of course, a podcast makes sense for you. If there's, some of the folks that you're targeting and maybe you're helping your clients with that, those marketing service, like, hey guys, why don't you offer a webinar? Why don't you do a podcast? Are you going that direction with your clients?
We are when it makes sense. And so, sometimes people come to us and say, I want to start a podcast. I'm all excited. And we say, okay, it takes some time, let's start with maybe you being on other people's podcasts. So you kind of get a feel for what it's about. That's the lightest lift.
Right.
And then let's talk about what would your podcast be about? How often would you have it? Who would be your guest? And just making sure that there's a solid strategy behind it. And as some of our clients are running into a bit of a snag that's similar to case studies. So when you want to write a case study with your favorite client and the client says, I'd love to, but legal says no. Podcasts can be the same way depending on the subject matter. And so it's just an important consideration, particularly for manufacturing companies as they're thinking about doing this, is making sure the topic's going to lend itself well and be approved.
Right. Nice. Okay. Excellent tip. I'm going off script for a second. Any surprises or any, since you, from the day you started to like today, 90 episodes in, anything, any positive surprises? Any like, wow, man, this podcast thing is like far exceeding my expectations. I know, Damon, you and I just absolutely love this. We get to spend time just sitting here, just absorbing your energy, your positivity, your experience, your expertise, anything that's exceeded your expectations becoming a podcaster.
I mean, it's all of the things that you just brought up. It's such instead of reaching out to someone and saying, hey, I read your bio and it sounds like we're doing a lot of the same stuff. We should connect. Instead, it's an excuse, if you will. It's a catalyst to have a conversation that other people can listen to and benefit from. But we, the two people in the conversation, get so much out of it. So I just love that. And if my team hits something that they haven't seen before, like we had one, like Google changed their algorithm, pretty significantly. And I said, let's bring on an expert in that algorithm and let's tell me all your questions. Let me just ask them. So we use it selfishly as sometimes too, and we want to dig a little deeper.
Well, God, such a contagious enthusiasm. Do me a favor. Tell Leonard, call Leonard after and just say, hey, Kurt and Damon just said, Dad, thank you for doing such a great job, because the guys are saying that I'm just a ball of energy and you have a contagious enthusiasm. Wendy, let's go here next. Let's talk about.
Before you go, Kurt, I can't believe I forgot to bring this up. We asked a question in our research about podcasts and whether or not engineers, and I'm looking for the data right now because this is such a good one. Okay, get ready for this. So we asked last year, hey, engineers, do you listen to podcasts for work? And hang on. Oh, let me find it. It's through the roof year over year. It was really, yeah. And here we go. So 73% of engineers listen to work-related podcasts throughout their week. And this was up quite a bit from last year, like 32 percentage points or something like that. And I think that there's two reasons. I think there's just more adoption, but also there's more shows out there that are niche-y and related to what they're doing. So, there's definitely some momentum behind doing this.
Absolutely. And I agree with you 100%. It's not for everybody. And sometimes, like, I'm always guilty, hey, shiny object. Hey, let's jump on Tumblr. Let's jump on, whatever, right? Whatever the latest flavor of the month is
Yeah.
and trying it out. So it is common for folks. Hey, let's just do a podcast. But boy, for folks, especially you probably cross folks where you feel it's a phenomenal fit and they might be putting up some resistance. So, definitely be, if you're a manufacturer, boy, be open-minded to this opportunity. Let's slide in. You have an exciting speaking gig coming up at a wonderful industrial conference in September, coming at us live in Cleveland. Can you talk a little bit about that summit that's coming up?
Yeah. So it's part of Content Marketing World, and it's a one-day
Wow.
summit called the Industrial Marketing Summit. So it's kind of like a subset
Mhm.
of the bigger conference. And I love this because, as you know, I'm pretty passionate about content marketing and how well that fits for technical buyers. So to get all of us industrial folks in one room that are like, doing things like convincing technical leadership that content marketing is important, this is just, it's going to be like a big, I don't know,
like a mini Woodstock,
therapy
right?
session.
Mini Woodstock.
Palooza of B2B industrial
Like that,
marketing.
but the opposite.
Yeah, a little bit of both. I definitely both.
It's going to be both. And boy, let's talk about the lineup. I know. So our mutual friend, Joe Sullivan, Eddie Saunders is coming up on our program. Wendy, talk about some of the other, I know you're one of the keynotes.
Yeah.
What are some of the other speakers?
MJ Peters will be there, some folks from Samtech. Toshiba. So we got a lot of big brands as well as smaller companies. So there's going to be some breadth of topics, and it's going to be a great day.
It's going to be a great time. So I believe it's September 15th. Do I have that right?
September 15th, and it's sponsored by Cadena's Part Solutions. So they're the ones that made it possible, and we're grateful to them.
And we have Andrew Hood from Cadena's coming up on our program in November, Damon, just to let you know there. So these are dear friends of ours. So great lineup. So if you're out there, if you're catching this on a replay, if you're interested, definitely connect with Wendy. You want to check out that conference. You want to check out her book. I want to slide into now, Wendy, I have another question for you here. So, okay, you are part of a nonprofit, if I'm not mistaken, right? It's called Red Arena. Do I have that? Do I have that right?
Yes, you do.
Okay. So before you tell everybody about it, Damon, I challenge you to go to their website, watch their videos, and not shed a tear.
Oh, it's impossible. Is that possible?
I challenge anybody out there to go to it's redarena.com, I believe, right?
It might be .org. Yeah.
.org. Okay. So Red Arena, it's
I lose already, I cry in the national anthem, man. It doesn't take much for me.
Yeah, and hometown parades for sure.
Can you tell us what goes on at Red Arena? And my hat is off to you because your family, it sounds like that you are a contributor, participate, share what's going on at this organization.
We do. So it was founded by a good friend of ours who was a physical therapist, and basically what they do is equine therapy for children and veterans who have physical and mental challenges. So it might be autism, it might be, mobility limitations, it might be PTSD. And so for whatever reason, they have said, and these are pretty significant challenges in most cases. And so what you see in this video that moves everyone to tears is different examples of how, in one case, one child's first word at age 10 happened when they came off of a writing session. And then they have another child that can't be touched because her skin will fall off where she's touched. And so her whole body has to be in bandages. But she goes and takes care of these horses and interacts with them. And anyway, it's just what they're doing is amazing. And it just makes you so thankful for your health. And, I think about my children and how healthy they are and how easy we had it compared to these families, and having to, as parents, manage through all of this. And so it's just a bright spot in their week, and of course helps these children further develop their skills. So really neat organization. Go check them out. Yeah, and you will cry. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sorry, not sorry.
And don't even pretend that you're not going to, because you will. So it's just a matter of fact. I challenge anybody out there not. But so, hey, to the founder of that organization, Dave, I can't tell you how amazing it is, as Wendy just described, a child's first word. These children that are incapable, and it's a combination of things, Wendy. It's being in deep gratitude for what we have. And also, it's just, we hear all these negative things and this and politics and people pointing at each other. You watch something like that and you just feel so inspired for humanity. It's just like, I wish we had a news channel that was just dedicated to, situations of what's going on in the Red Arena. It's just so inspiring. So,
thank you. Thank you for bringing it up. Yeah,
absolutely. So guys, check that out. So Wendy, I know you're super busy. I want to be mindful of your time. We're talking about inspiration. Question for you. You are just crushing it on HubSpot. You are a technical guru, family, husband, kids. This just sounds like you have a wonderful life. I asked you who your hero was, of course, Leonard and mom's co-hero. Yeah. Who inspires you today as you look forward to the future with your business, your kids, just marching forward? Share a little bit, who inspires you today?
Oh, wow. I'm going to have to think about this. I love to say it's a world leader, but I don't have one.
Anybody local in your life, your coworkers, your TREW crew, your children, who's really who lights a fire for you on a regular basis?
I have a neighbor who is just, no matter how busy they are and what they're struggling with and what life throws at them, they have this positive light, and they'll just drop everything and be there for you. And, we all get so caught up in our day-to-day lives and career and family and just, our own stuff. And I'm always been impressed with how I just know I can call this person and she's always there. And, I just want to be mindful of that, that balance and take a step back and realign priorities. So, it's not a big famous figure out in the world, but to me, someone to emulate.
Boy, isn't that you just never, and she's, and I think you said she probably has no idea. And just look at the impact that you can have on others of just a smile, of just being polite, of just, like you said, I'm going to drop my groceries and help you and do whatever I need to. So man, what an inspiration. Last question for you today, Wendy. You are a Texas state champion fisher woman. Can you please share with the folks? Let's hear about this fish that you caught.
I am a record holder. The official title is I caught the largest catch and release redfish in the state of Texas. And it happened 11 years ago on Monday. Actually, was the anniversary. I celebrate that, see?
Celebrate it.
The anniversary. What was the date? What was the
anniversary of a record catch?
I don't know. It's on my calendar. Whatever Monday was.
I love it.
Yeah. So, and I have a women's fishing team. We're called the Treble Makers, and we have a tournament next.
The Treble Makers. Oh God, that's so great.
I have a little bit of this tiny little fishing obsession. So
a little bit.
Just a little. Therapists
the Treble Makers.
Fine with it, right? Nothing wrong with OCD on fishing. That's absolutely perfect. So, Wendy, as we close out, any parting words of wisdom, any bombs that you want to drop? Damon, what do you got?
One quick question though.
Okay.
Do you have one of those fishing boats with the big 200 and some horsepower motor on the back that can go super fast?
Guilty.
Oh my goodness. I love it. The first time I rode on one of those on the Tennessee River, I can't tell you what a rush that is, rolling down the water like 60 miles an hour.
You need to get to your favorite fishing spot before the other people at 5 a.m.
Oh my goodness, I can't believe it. That's awesome.
You got to get that on the website, or maybe when you come back to this chat box here, drop the picture of that boat in the chat box.
That is so great.
That is awesome. So as we close out, September 15th, you can catch Wendy live in Cleveland. You absolutely have to go to her website. All sorts of great information. Check out her podcast. Do yourself a favor. Buy herself a book. It's right on Amazon. I think it was like $8.99. You can't afford not to buy it. Wendy, any parting thoughts, any words of wisdom that you want to leave us with for today?
If you're one of these manufacturing companies that's still stuck in the old ways and you're trying to, pull people along towards inbound marketing, two pieces of advice. One, that research report really does help because you have specific data to back you up. And two, just start with one area of your business, right? Start with one vertical or one segment and build out the personas, build out the content along the buyer's journey. Just start there and prove out the model. And then before you know it, you'll be able to pull the rest of the company along.
Good stuff.
Moment of silence.
Moment of silence, right?
Moment of silence. It's lunchtime here in the East Coast. Let's moment of silence.
Just letting it.
Wendy, you are an absolute blessing. Just you are just infectious. It's just such an honor and privilege to connect with you. Boy, if there's anything Damon and I can do for you, you reach out anytime.
Yeah.
Guys, please connect with Wendy here on LinkedIn. Do yourself a favor. And if you're looking for just a little emotional, whatever we'll call it, go to redarena.org. You'll thank me for that one. So Wendy, God bless you. Thank you. Have a great time where you're at. Keep knocking down those fish. Everybody out there, boy, if you, just feel that inspiration, go out and just spread that to anybody and just keep going out and crushing it. Damon, what a, oh my God, I have no words today. This is great. So hey, round of applause. Let's get a round of applause for Wendy. Everybody out there, stand up, get a round of applause.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Damon,
thank you for having me.
Dude. Take it away, man.
Oh, thanks so much, Wendy. Awesome conversation today. Learning and listening to your insights about marketing and then getting to engineers with your content marketing is incredible. And go out and get her book, Content Marketing Engineered. I want to thank everyone for showing up today. Gail, Val, Manuel,
Ingor here.
Ingor in the end, coming in with the hot comments at the end. Awesome, Ingor. Well, just thanks everyone for being here this week. And we're going to be back again Monday. Are we here Monday?
We're taking Monday off, dude. We're taking Monday, but next Friday.
Kurt's busy.
I'm
busy. And then next Friday.
Little family vacation next week, but next Friday you've got Gail and you've got Polly Rose, and we're going to take a deep dive into LinkedIn strategies for manufacturers. Damon, I think you know something about LinkedIn, right? What do you got? 800,000 followers.
I've been on LinkedIn a little bit.
Yeah,
I've been known to comment once or twice.
Right, you'll figure it
out. But thanks so much, everyone, for being here. Man, we love to see you every Friday. Come back and see us again. We have awesome guests like Wendy sharing great information to help manufacturers, e-commerce, B2B people that want to grow their businesses and do it right. See y'all next week.